All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Makakwadash. A double honors the apostles, elders, and great millstone salutations to you, Akim, pushing the work in truth and sincerity. All right, so this lesson is dealing with a Jake I was dealing with, will actually work with him. Um, and, you know, they believe that, it's okay to pretty much make it on this side, you know, and, they think it's okay to basically dedicate their lives to, trying, pretty much, again, make it on this side, whether that's, getting loans, generational wealth, and so on and so forth. But to better explain, I wrote this down, all right, and I want to go ahead and read it because it's better the way I wrote it. All right, so the name of this lesson is Exodus 12 and 36. Does not mean we're going to get rich on this side. And a lot of Israelites believe this. They really believe this. All right. So I say Israel knows about the connection between the ancient Egypt and the spiritual Egypt, which is America, aka Babylon the Great. All right. As Egypt was being swept with plagues, our ancestors were favored, and the Lord gave them riches from the Egyptians before their great journey. All right. Israelites today believe this will happen in the form of them having, businesses and loans, land, and accumulation of generational wealth. All right. Because, the whole idea is that, the Lord is, going to put, them above the heathen on this side. And it's just not true. All right. Um, you know, at least that's the rhetoric, that I hear from him, pretty much every day. And I went to correct him, and I mentioned, Jacob's trouble. What about Jacob's trouble? We got to go through, the hour of temptation. And, you know, his response was really, you could tell that they don't want to hear about that. I think he said something to the extent of, what, Jacob's trouble, we're going through Jacob's trouble right now, and, with all the stuff that we got to deal with. And no, it's gonna get a little bit more testy out here, man. It's gonna get way worse. Okay, but that pretty much speaks volumes for these Israelites, man, and where their heads at, concerning our plight, concerning the Lord's will. All right, they really do not understand the scriptures. All right, they don't understand the scriptures. They don't really understand what this truth is about. You know, and I see that when you have to deal with certain Israelites or certain other Israelites outside of within these other groups, they really don't have the understanding of the scriptures, man. All right, so and forgive me for any background noise, man. All right, so I'll read this again. It says the Egyptians. So the Lord gave our people riches. All right, from the Egyptians before their great journey. Israelites today believe this will happen in the form of them having businesses and loans. All right, this is the individual. I'm not gonna mention his name, but he believes he's gonna get $1 million loan, and he's actually working towards it. But I've seen, and the reason why I want to make this a lesson because you see this across the board with these different groups. I've ran past these individuals who are Israelites on Instagram, and they're pretty much lecturing people to get about generational wealth, and so on and so forth. All right, we're not going to get riches because this land is going to be completely destroyed. All right, but I'll continue. It says loans and accumulation of generational wealth. However, to the contrary to popular the popular belief, we will not receive riches on this side from these Babylonians. because of this place being completely defiled. But we shall receive the forces of the Gentile prior to the destruction of this place. Okay, I just put the beast system. All right. So we're not gonna receive any riches on this side, man. So I'm gonna go to Exodus 12 and 36, and this is basically because Jake knows the correlation and the connection between the ancient Egypt and the spiritual Egypt, which is America. All right, Revelations 11 and I think 8 through 11 goes into that. How this is spiritually Sodom and spiritually Egypt. So they know the correlation, they know the connection, and they believe somehow this is going to happen in our time. So already it says Exodus 12 and 36, and the Lord Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. Okay, all right, and so they believe that this is gonna happen again. All right, on this side, that they're gonna get that the heathen somehow are gonna bow to them. They're gonna give them their riches or whatnot, and Jake is gonna skate off into the kingdom. They really don't understand the principle of as the scripture said, through great tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. We have to we have to be tested. That our temptation, whether or not we're gonna take the mark of this devil, which is the RFID chip, according to the scriptures, that is the mark of the beast, the MOTB, or the mark or of exemption from the Lord, which is the Thawa. Okay, the Hebrew word Thawa, which means to be exempt from judgment. Okay, and there's a great price to pay with our lives, and Jake don't want that. They just want to skate into the kingdom as if everything is just gonna be okay. So I had a few more precepts. I'm not gonna make this long, Lord willing. All right. So let's see. Okay, 2. So I'll bring this over here. All right. So let's start with this one, Ezekiel 37 and 21. All right, and this is dealing with the dry bones, but I want to get straight to the point here. Is Ezekiel 37 and 21, and say unto them, thus said the Lord Yahweh power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their land. Okay, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. All right, which is David. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. So the Lord is going to bring all Israel together, and He's going to gather us from all the lands that we were scattered to. Okay, neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned. All right, and will cleanse them. Okay, so we have to be cleansed, and part of our transition from this captivity to the kingdom. All right, a portion of us are going to be pretty much put to death and have to be risen in the day that Yahweh Shai comes back. Now, that's not going to be the case with all of us. All right, because some are going to actually see the salvation and be alive. All right, when the salvation comes. Okay, but the dead in Hamashiach are going to rise first, according to 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16, and then we're going to be caught up in the air with them. All right. So shall they be my people, and I will be their power. Okay. All right. So I was thinking about, well, the point I wanted to bring out really is that, this place is completely defiled, and the Lord is going to utterly destroy this place. Okay. And so I was just thinking about some history, because in some cases in the history, we had, pretty much when the Lord gave us an order to take down, certain nations like the Canaanites, for example. Um, the Lord would either, in many cases, the Lord would have us destroy all their idols, destroy, just their idols and the men. All right, and then in other cases, we would have to utterly destroy everything and not leave a thing. All right, okay. And for the case of America, which is the most defiled place in the history of mankind, all right, it's the most abominable place because its land it's defiled with blood. Okay, so we're not going to take anything from this place and essentially bring it to the kingdom, or escape into the kingdom with these things. This place is going to be utterly destroyed by fire. Okay, so I want to get to the point on here. Uh, all right, just to use this as an example. All right, so Leviticus 18:24, defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. So homosexuality was one of the things that's being mentioned here, right along. So laws on immoral relations. All right, and this society pretty much pushes it immoral relations, right? Just for an example, okay. So the Lord is telling us what it says. Let's see. I'm sorry. Where was I? All right. Right. Okay. So it says here again. It says Leviticus 18:24. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. Right. So they were doing certain things that was abominable in the sight of the Lord. And how much more, dealing here in America, being here in America, all the things that they put as the society standards. Um, these things are an abomination to the Lord. Okay, all right, and just like then, we can't, pretty much be in the midst of it, doing all sorts of abominations. All right, okay. It says, "And the land is defiled; therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants." Right? Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation. Right? Because what were they doing? Homosexuality. They were doing bestiality. All these, detestable things. Right? Leviticus 18:22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. Right? Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith, neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion, right? So they were doing this in ancient Canaan, which became Israel, or the land of Israel. All right, the home of the Israelites. All right, and when you look at today's society, they're doing the same thing. Okay, so we're not supposed to be, in a sense, just drawing from the example. We're not supposed to be doing those things, and that's why the Lord gave the law, so that we can be able to, so we can dwell in the land, and so the Lord would deal with us, so we can be near unto the Lord, right? Okay. And when you look at America, it's defiled with these different acts. All right, these sexual or sexual perversion, these immoral practices. Okay, you shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. Right? For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. Right? So if that land was defiled, okay, how much more America? Okay, okay, which is going to be it has to be cleansed with fire. It says that the land spew not you out also when you defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you, right? Okay, because that's the Lord's land, all right? All right. And then you got idiots that believe that, America is the Lord's land, but he's about to totally eradicate. But that's, different, probably a different lesson for another time when I gather up more information, because you got Israelites that believe America is the promised land, all right? Which America is Babylon the Great, okay? It says, for whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore shall ye keep mine ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the Lord Yahweh, your power. All right. So just drawing from this example, and you think about America. All right. You look at America. America is that. That's why it's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. All right. So this is Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Okay. And it was speaking on the captivity. All right. All right. So arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. All right. Because it is polluted. And we always use this precept dealing with America. Okay. Okay. It says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with the sword of destruction. So this society is polluted, and it's going to destroy you even with the sword of destruction. And that's why we're called to what I'll just do it on this one. Jeremiah 51 and 6. Okay. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. Taking part of the riches and trying to pretty much be the flesh in the cauldron. Yeah, this is Ezekiel 11. That's going to get you destroyed. All right. Because essentially, 11 and 11. All right. And we can apply this to America as well. All right. So I want to read these two. All right. So Micah 2 and 10 again, it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. All right. So we got the example, in Leviticus, where, they were doing abominable acts, and the Lord pretty much gave them a law to abstain from that so they can dwell in the land. Right. So how much more, America? All right. And, Israelites think they're going to go skating to the kingdom, with riches and, and but those things are defiled. All right. Essentially everything in America and produced in America is defiled with blood. Okay. So it says, arise, ye depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, with the sword of destruction, right? Ezekiel 11 and 11, it says, this city shall not be your cauldron, neither shall you be the flesh in the midst thereof. Okay, but I will judge you in the border of Israel, right? So we're not supposed to, be part of this society and mesh with this society, okay? So Jeremiah 51 and 6, it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. All right, so be not cut off in her iniquity. What is her iniquity? Of course, the abomination that she produced. All right. And the Lord is not going to favor us by giving us, this, RFNs, loans, and land. The land is defiled, one, all right, because blood was spilled on it. And the money is defiled because it's not real money, all right. Real money is, of course, gold, silver, cattle, all right, and land, of course, but of course the land is defiled, all right. And so when you look at America, all right, and all the things that it has to offer, it's really iniquity when you look at it, all right, if you really look into it, okay. So the Lord is saying, well, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, right? He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. What, with her wine, with her philosophy, right? It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right. So even the nations are pretty much suffering because they have taken on, the customs of America. Okay. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroy howl for her and take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. All right. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and it is lifted up even to the skies. That's right. And we can apply this for the society that we live in today. All right, because really nothing is new under the sun concerning, these ancient customs in the ancient world and today. Okay. So here's another example. All right. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna read up. So Deuteronomy, okay, 2:34. It says, and we took all the cities at that time and utterly destroyed the men and the women and the little ones of every city. We left none to remain. Only the cattle we took for a prey unto ourselves, and the spoil of the cities which we took from Aurora. So example of us getting into the land of Israel. All right, we took certain possessions and we utterly pretty much destroyed the men and the women. All right. So in some cases in the ancient world, that's what we would do. Okay. Only the cattle we took for a prey unto ourselves. Now, when you think about America, what is it that we actually take from this society? All right. That's not defiled. Okay. Everything in this place has to be destroyed. It says, and the spoil of the cities which he took from Aurora, which is by the brink of the river of Arnon, and from the city that is by the river, even unto Gilead, there was not one city too strong for us. The Lord Yahweh, our power, God delivered all unto us, right? Only unto the land of the children of Ammon thou camest not, nor unto the place of the river Jabbok, nor unto the cities in the mountains, nor unto whatsoever the Lord Yahweh, our power, forbade us. So, just an example of of the Lord, giving us a leave or an order to, how to deal with the cities. But when you look at America, all right, this is what the Lord has in store for it. All right, this is Isaiah 14, and let's see. All right, so I'm going to start at the point because I can read all this, and this is dealing with Esau. All right, now he's pretty much, conquered everything in his pomp. The scripture's talking about his pomp being brought down. All right, so this is Isaiah 14 and 15. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And that's Esau, okay? Because the Lord, as the scriptures say, that the Lord gave him the sword, all right? The scriptures say he shall live by the sword, okay? It says that made the world as a wilderness, all right? Through his blessing that he received, he was able to do this, all right? That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof. that opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. Okay, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. Okay, because when it's all said and done, all right, Esau he's the only one that's not going to have an inheritance prior to this society being destroyed. All right, but all the other nations they will. Okay, all the heathen nations they will have their own homes. It says, "But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot." All right, because we're gonna deal, we're gonna deal with Esau in a really heinous manner, only because they've done. We're gonna render them double what they've done us. All right, it says, "Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities." All right, so the Lord is going to completely root them out of their place. "For I will rise up against them, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, and remnant, and son and nephew, said the Lord Yahweh." Right? So he's going to completely cut them off from being a nation. And then they're going to fall. They're going to fall as a nation. Okay? And they're going to go into hardcore slavery. All right? "I will also make it a possession for the bitter." And this is what is going to possess this place. All right? After this place is totally annihilated. All right? So we ain't gonna have no possessions from this place. What's gonna possess this place? It's gonna be for the bitter and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction. All right, I said the Lord Yahweh of hosts. All right, so we ain't taking nothing with us. All right, this place is gonna be totally eradicated and destroyed. Okay, the Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, "Surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand." Okay, so Isaiah 34. Isaiah 34 and 1, it says, "Come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." Okay, because he's essentially um, um, making those multitudes of armies come together to fight against each other in the Valley of Decision, right? Which the scripture said Jehoshaphat. The word there is Yahweh Shabbat, which means the Lord's judgment. Right, so he's going to bring the nations together to fight against each other, right? And the grand scheme, America's in it, pretty much lumped in there as well. All right, but America's going to catch the brunt of all the how can I say, crossfire. All right, it says, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll." All right, which we call it a mushroom cloud. All right, and all their host shall fall down, and as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven." All right, and this is dealing with America's destruction, those thermonuclear missiles being shot up, all right, and eventually coming down upon America. It says, "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." All right, and this is America is the main hub of Idumea. All right, the Edomites. Okay, this is just a Greek way of saying Edom. Okay, it says, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood; it is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of the lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra. All right, and Basra is the capital city of Edom. Okay, and America is, essentially the capital city of Esau's establishment. Okay, worldwide, because you have the Western, what they call Western civilization, which influences the whole world. All right, but and the Edomites are spread all out. They pretty much own the world. All right, they own Europe, they own Africa. Okay, they own Australia. They're in Russia. They're everywhere. Okay, these Edomites. There's not a place you can go where their rule of law is not being regulated. Okay, but America is their main hub. Okay, it says, in a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Okay, so there's a great slaughter, right? And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls in their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of the recompenses for the controversy of Zion, right? So the Lord is going to pay back. Recompense goes into payback in the controversy of Zion, because what we pretty much being downtrodden by Esau, all right, and his system. Okay, it says, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone. All right, and this is dealing with the land. It says, the land thereof shall become burning pitch. All right. Oh yeah. So again, like the sacrifice of Basra. Okay, like everything in the society is going to be pretty much is being built up to a point, and when the reaper comes, it's going to be ripe for America's going to be ripe enough for its destruction. All right. What is the day of the Lord's vengeance, the year of the recompenses for the controversy of Zion, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. And it shall not be quenched night or day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, from generation to generation. It shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. Okay. So the possessions of this land are going to be completely eradicated. All right, and the ones that is going to be inhabiting this land, all right, is going to be possessing what's left of it, so to speak. And pretty much that's the point I want to make. America's going to be completely destroyed, and all the possessions of it as well. All right, everything that's defiled. All right, and what's left of it, the bitter and the cormorant is going to possess. The owl also. And you're talking about animals that can live in extreme conditions. All right, and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion. All right, and the stones of emptiness. All right, because America is divided. All right, by line. Okay, you have the 50 states. Okay, and all right, and they all are divided by line. Okay, but you're not gonna. It says you're gonna be confused, because you're not gonna be able to determine where one state was, or how just being able to survey the land. You're not going to be able to determine what state was what, because of the line of confusion. All right. It says, in the stones of emptiness, it says, they shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. Okay. And thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons, and a court for owls. All right, the wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the islands, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow, screech owl also shall rest there and find herself a place of rest. All right. So the point is that you're not going to take no possessions from this defiled land. All right. The only thing that's going to be taken from this land is the children of Israel. Okay. All right. So let me see. And the only thing that's going to be possessing this land, and what's left of it, is going to be wild animals that can only survive in extreme weather conditions. Okay, because this place is going to be burned up. All right. So let's see. All right. So which brings me. So we can get. All right. So which brings me to my next point, because again, Jake think that you know that scripture means that we gonna get a favor from the Lord. All right, and we gonna receive riches from the modern day Egyptians, but that's not gonna happen. Okay, the only favor that we're getting from the Lord is this truth, which is gonna save us. Okay, all right, because Jake want to make it rich on this side, and that ain't gonna happen. Okay, so let me see. Salaki, bear with me for a second. Yeah, so another point that I wanted to make is that in Revelations 21, just to further prove that you're not gonna get any riches from this place, because Jake, again, they think they're gonna get rich, and it's gonna be a big parade where they're gonna be rich going into the kingdom, and that ain't the case. Okay, all right. It says let's see, and this is dealing with the kingdom. All right, but before we get the kingdom, we got to go through Jacob's trouble. All right, so let's do this. Jeremiah 30 and 7. All right. Scriptures talk about scarcely being saved as well. So Jeremiah 30 and 7, it says, the last of the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, because you got Israelites that believe that that it's not going to get any worse. In their eyes, it's going to get better because they're buying up land, they're trying to get a foothold here, and pretty much survive the wave. Then you got other Israelites believe that this is the promised land, which is not. Okay, this land is going to be utterly destroyed, which we just read in Isaiah 34. Okay, this is but he shall be saved out of it, where shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. All right, so the Lord is going to pretty much free us, from his clutches. All right, it says, but they shall serve the Lord Yahweh their power, David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. All right, okay, so the Lord is essentially doing that. Right, he's raising up the house of David, and of course, our king. Okay, who we are seeking and searching for, which we know we have an idea who that is. Okay, which a lot of Jake, that pretty much goes over their head. All right, but again, it's rooted in faith. All right, which is the greatest. How can I say? Faith is the greatest thing we can have. Okay, is the greatest riches we can have. All right, and wisdom is the greatest thing we can have. All right. So here I get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, and I'll read that because that's the riches that we have. Okay, in Revelations 2, I think it's 9, verse 9. All right. Scripture say Revelations 2 and 9, know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. How are we rich? All right. It's through the knowledge. All right. So the Lord says he knows our works in tribulation, the thing that we have to suffer, and poverty. So we suffer in poverty as well, right? But thou art rich. How are we rich? If we suffer, if the Lord knows our tribulation and poverty, we're rich through the wisdom, the knowledge that we have, the understanding that we have. Okay. And I know the blasphemy of them will say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. All right. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 1. It says, wisdom reacheth from one end to another, mightily and sweetly doth she order all things. I loved her and saw her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty. In that she is conversant with God, she magnified her nobility. Yea, the Lord of all things himself loved her, for she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of God, and a lover of his works. So she is privy, all right, to the mysteries of the knowledge of God, which as part of, I'll read this slide. It says, if riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things, all right? And I just wanted to say that, but I'd rather read it before I say it. The mysteries of the knowledge of the Most High, those are riches, okay? All right, that's the riches that we get on this side, all right? But we are, okay, we are eventually, we are going to get riches, okay? We're going to get the forces of the Gentiles, but not in America, okay? It's going to be prior to America, to the destruction of America, all right? We also going to get fame, all right? Just type it in. We're also going to get fame as well, okay? Um, and Salakia too, because it's only had a few precepts and it was it was really raw. So only had a few points, that I used pretty much in Leviticus. I use Leviticus to, pretty much say that to show, the certain abominations and how we had to deal with it. Then, when you correlate it, you connect it with today's society, which is, spiritually Sodom and Egypt. I was just pointing out the defilement, So, we can't even, we really can't even exist in this society without, and go along and get along in this society without being, being part of the festivities, so to speak. And if we're part of the festivities, the Lord is going to destroy us because we're defiled with these inhabitants. All right. And I use the example of, Israel having to destroy um, um, whole cities, and not just the cities, but there's other accounts too where they tell you that we at certain accounts that we couldn't take anything out of a city that we pretty much conquered, okay, because everything in the city was defiled. All right, when you look at America, everything, all right, is defiled. Okay, all right, so and of course we ain't gonna be able to bring none of that into the kingdom, and that was a point for Revelations 21. And nothing defiled is gonna be in the kingdom. All right, so how's Jake, gonna get riches on this side, and eventually they're just gonna be saved, and they're gonna be in the kingdom with those riches? It's just impossible. It just don't make sense. If you get what I'm saying, you know. So just based on what I'm dealing with certain individuals, they believe that, that they're going to get the land, they're going to get riches, and they're going to pretty much wait out the storm, and then the Lord's going to deliver them, and then they're going to take whatever they have, but I don't know the mind of Jake, man, but that, that notion is just bugged out, man, for real. So Salakia. All right. So the point that I wanted to bring out from the point I wanted to bring out for Revelations 21. All right, because this is dealing with the kingdom. That nothing defiled is going to be in the kingdom. Okay. So Revelations 21 and 24, it says, "And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it." Well, you know what? Let's get this one. My bad. All right. So this is Isaiah 60:1. "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee." All right, that's the truth. All right. That light represents the truth, okay? The whole truth, the 100% truth, all right? It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising." Okay? According to Isaiah 2, according to Micah chapter 4. Okay? "Lift up thine eyes around about, and see all they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, all right, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side." Okay, because part of our salvation, the Lord is going to gather all Israel back. Okay, and essentially, when our sons and daughters are, when the sons of Israel go back to the land, all the nations going to flow onto it. And it's going to go into it. It says, "Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged." Right? So essentially, we're going to not bug out. All right? We ain't going to fear. It says your eyes will shine, and your heart will thrill with joy. That's what it means by fear. For the merchant, this is the NLT, it says, "For merchants from around the city, around the world, will come to you. They will bring you the wealth of many lands." All right. This is how we're going to get our wealth. Okay. When America is destroyed. Okay. All right. Not anything. How can I say? Uh, is it prior? Is that the word I'm looking for? Prior to or before? I could just say before. Right. So prior is before, right? Okay. So we're not going to get any type of, riches to be comforted by and on this side, okay, prior to the destruction, before the destruction. All right. Now, the Lord might favor us in a way where, that we get certain things to keep us while we're here, but not, $1 million or not on that type of scale, man. All right. But I got individuals in my ears saying that, so that's off. All right. It says, "Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear." All right, and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The sea representing the people. All right. "The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee." All right. All right. Meaning their riches. Okay. "The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall shew forth the praises of the Lord Yahweh. All the flocks of Kedar." So all these nations are going to be tributary towards us. All right. But that's after, the Lord put down the nations. This is after the Lord has to destroy um, this abominable kingdom. Okay, this is all the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebiah shall minister unto thee, meaning to serve us, right? They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Who are these that fly as clouds, and as doves, as the doves to their windows? It says, surely the isles shall wait for me, right? And the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord Yahweh, thy power, right? And to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Read it in NLT. It says, surely the isles shall wait for, no, Slocky. It says, look at that. It says, vast caravans of camels. Hold on. Verse 9. They are ships from, well, let me read, verse 6 again. It's like vast caravans of camels will converge on you. The camels of Midian and Ephah, the people of Sheba will bring gold and frankincense and will come worshiping the Lord. The flocks of Kedar will be given to you, and the rams of Nebiah will be brought for my altars. I will accept their offerings, and I will make my temple glorious. All right. And what do I see flying like clouds to Israel, like doves to their nests? The chariots, of course, right? They are ships from the ends of the earth, from lands that trust in me, led by the great ships of Tarshish. They are bringing the people of Israel home from far away, carrying their silver and gold. They will honor the Lord Yahweh, your power, the Holy One of Israel, for he has filled you with splendor. Foreigners will come to rebuild your towns, and their kings will serve you. For though I have destroyed you in mine anger, I will now have mercy on you through my grace. Their gates, KJV. All right. It says, therefore thy gates, verse 11, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentile, and that they, and those forces of the riches, that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Okay? So that's when we're going to get our riches. Okay? But here's a point here. I'm going to get straight to the point here. Revelations 21 and 25, it says, in the gates of it, and this is dealing with the kingdom, when it's established, it says, in the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. All right. It's not literal. It's not literal, basically. All right. It says, and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it, and there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defile it. Right. So you're not taking any riches from America over there. Let's just say that. We're not even taking these bodies with us. Okay. For that much. All right. It says, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. You see? So we ain't taking nothing from America over there, because essentially everything over here is defiled. And that's pretty much the point I wanted to make. Zephaniah 3:19, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, all right, and gather her that was driven out. And those are the Israelites, all right. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame, all right, because that's what Jake wants now. But that ain't gonna happen prior to America's destruction, okay. All right, and we somewhat is gonna get, we're infamous now, all right, and the Lord is raising us up in the sight of, our enemies. All right, and putting us in order now. All right, but it's going to be more so after this place is destroyed. All right, it says, "At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you." So even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all the people of the earth. So essentially, when the Lord comes to get us, the scriptures talk about the strangeness of our salvation, right? So when we deal with the strangeness of our salvation, that's when we're going, pretty much gonna get the real thing. All right. So it says, "For I will make you a name and praise. So like at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you." Right. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 5. And I can start at 1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear." All right. "And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation." So they're going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation, which is us being taken up in those chariots. All right. So far beyond all that they look for. And this is essentially when the fame is going to come. "And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, This was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor." All right. How is he numbered among the children of God? All right. See, this is where we're going to get our fame, right? "And his lot is among the saints." Right. "Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us." Okay. So here back in Zephaniah 3:20, it says, "At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord Yahweh." Right. Okay. So when the Lord turned back our captivity by saving us from the destruction, okay, that's when we essentially going to get our praise and fame, right? Because people are going to be astonished, and they're not going to be expecting this, because at that time, well, they're going to be already, well, they're going to have it in minds that we're a derision. But when we're being taken up in those ships, they're going to be saying, "Damn, how is he numbered among the saints?" Okay. Um, Let me see, Amos. Let me see something. See, supply. And Shalom. That's a good one. So there's a wealthy story of it. Yeah, that's right, man. All right. Proverbs 13:22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Right. So the best inheritance we can leave for our children, what really is this truth. But a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. All right. Now, the best thing, and because we get a lot of flack for not, being super dads or being super rich on this side. But the greatest riches we can leave our children is this truth. Okay. But eventually, the riches of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. But concerning America, ain't no riches coming from this place. All right, because all of it's defiled. You know. So Amos 9. It's going to be part of our riches too, possessing the nation. Amos 9:11. "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up its ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, said the Lord that doeth this." So we're going to possess all the nations, and the nations going to flow into us. They're going to have to, give honor and give honor to our power. Of course, they're going to give honor to us as well. All right. It says, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed. And that's not going to happen essentially on this side. We're going to be scarcely saved. All right. Meaning we're going to be in a dangerous situation and we're going to be saved out of it. That's why I read Jeremiah 30:7. Okay. It says, in the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed in the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build away cities. We ain't gonna build it as in, us Israelites. The heathen gonna build it. All right. It says, inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, said the Lord Yahweh their power. All right. And that was pretty much all I had. Lord willing, it makes sense. I was kind of struggling earlier. Oh, wow. Let's see. Throw out for the precepts as well, man. Throw out for tuning in too. All right. Psalm 70:85. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children. That the generation to come might know them, right? And that's this truth, okay? That's the understanding of the Lord, who the Lord is, His Majesty, okay? All right, and the things that He had prepared for us, okay? Even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, all right? And in our case, it's the kingdom, okay? We're passing the knowledge of the kingdom down. All right, this is the greatest thing we can possibly do. Psalm 78:7, it says that they might set their hope in God, that they might set their hope in the Most High, and not forget the works of God, but keep His commandments. Yeah. Verse 8, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. Right, because the scripture said Jeshurun waxed fat, and at one point we did have the riches. We had the riches leaving Egypt, all right, but that really wasn't it didn't bode well for us, all right, because we essentially became a spoiled nation. On this Exodus, all right, we're not gathering the riches of materialism. We're gathering the riches of the knowledge, the wisdom of the Heavenly Father. All right, the mysteries. Okay, that is the real wisdom. All right, which this is Wisdom of Solomon 8:4 again. Hold on, no, slacking, because I read Wisdom of Solomon 8:4. It says 8:5. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? All right. Scripture also say wisdom leadeth to a kingdom. Okay. I'm not sure if that's Sirach 10. I'm not sure if that's Sirach 10 or not. But yeah, man. Okay. It says it might not Psalm 78:8. So again, just going back, because we were fat, we did leave Egypt with a lot of victuals, a lot of cattle and all of that, but that only spoiled us, okay, to the point we couldn't even appreciate what the Lord was doing for us, and those miracles that He was setting up for us, and in fact, Jacob was stuck on Egypt. Okay, Jacob was stuck on Egypt. So let me see, Deuteronomy think it's 32, 32 and 15, I think. Yep. Here it goes. This is Deuteronomy 32. I started 9. For the Lord Yahweh's portion is his people, and Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. All right. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about, and he instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. All right. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Lord Yahweh alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock. That's a sharp rock. It says, but butter of kine and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. But Jeshurun waxed fat. All right, and we go into Jeshurun. Of course, it's just another name of Israel. All right, I think it's Yashawan, Yashar one. So up, we know Yashar to be a warrior. All right, or prince. One. All right, being upright one. Right. So a symbolic name for Israel, describing her ideal character. All right. So this was our ideal character, was to be upright, princes of God. All right. So it says, but, all right, whenever you put the but in front of something, you negate everything you say before it. So, but Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. You see. Then he forsook the Most High, which made him. All right. So that's what happened when we left out of Egypt with those riches. Eventually, we became spoiled, and we didn't appreciate the Heavenly Father. So on this go run, because Jeremiah 16 and 14 goes into, let's go to it. It's like, therefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children out of the children of Israel from the land of the north, that's North America, right? And from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into the land that I gave unto their fathers. Now he's not going to do it the same way he did it in the first Egypt, okay? Because the first Egypt, which we just read, eventually we waxed fat. We became spoiled, all right? And what? Then he forsook, Deuteronomy 32 and 15, in the middle of the verse, it says, then he forsook the Most High, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So how much more, on this go around? Jacob's already lightly esteeming the Lord and don't appreciate what the Lord is doing as far as spiritually, okay? Because on this go around, we essentially got to earn it, all right? And we have to see it on a spiritual sense, okay? So the Lord is not, and Scripture said, "What blessed is he that believeth on him, who he hath not seen." Okay, so on this go run, faith is is the riches. Okay, I think blessed is he. Yep. Slacking for the background noise. Babies get excited. John 20, 29. So this is John 20 and 29. It says, Yahushua said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. You see, because the angel was sent in the way to keep us in the way, and Israel provoked him. Right? Deuteronomy 32 and 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. So why would we bring anything from America or have anything on this side when really everything is consecrated to a God on this side? Essentially everything when you deal with it. And that's how vastly corrupt this place is. All right, they search out iniquity. All right, and everything essentially is dedicated to some God one way or another. Okay, and this place is completely defiled, and that's why there ain't gonna be no remembrance of this place, essentially. All right, when the Lord destroys it. Okay, it says that in Isaiah 65 and I think the 17th verse. All right, it says, with abominations provoke they him to anger. See, they sacrifice unto devils, not to the Most High, to gods whom they knew not. It says that if the Lord don't wipe away this place, man, Jake is going to still be niggas. They're going to, carry that nigga mentality into a chariot. And you're not getting to a chariot, man. That's why we got to be changed. All right. To guys, to new guys that newly came up newly, Slakia, whom your fathers fear not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful and hast forgotten God that formed thee. So that's what happened when we came out of Egypt. Eventually, we were spoiled, a brat nation that lightly esteemed and provoked the Most High Yahweh to jealousy. All right, and that's why no remnants of this society is going to be remembered. All right, the Lord got to completely wipe this place off the face of the map and the memory of it. Of course, it's going to be an example for what not to be. All right. Isaiah 65 and 17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered. And it's talking about this age. All right, nor come into mind. All right. So essentially, we're not even going to have the thought, the mindset of the customs in which we had, we came up under. All right. But be glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing and her people a joy. So we're going to have a new way of which that new way is going to be a refreshed way. All right. Because the scriptures say he's going to build us as in the days of old. Okay. Concerning the house of David. Okay, it says, and I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. All right, so Jake think that we gonna get it on this side, and we're not. All right, so I'll continue with these precepts, which this precept, Psalm 78 and 8, pretty much sparked that. It says, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Lord. Now, we just read that, Jeshurun and wax fat. Psalms 2 and 7, I will declare the decree. The Lord Yahweh hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, in the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. And that's what we're asking the Lord to give us, that, not riches on this side. This is what we want. We want the heathen for our inheritance. We want them to serve us in our land, and we want them to build our society. Okay, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. All right, so it's a catch. And Shalom to Akim that's tuned in. All right, it's a catch, man. If you want this society, you don't want the kingdom, and that's what it's really about. If you want this society, You don't want the kingdom, okay? Proverbs 11:4 says, riches profit not in the day of wrath. That's right, because ain't nothing coming to America but wrath, okay? And in fact, it tell you in, you know, where is it? Second entrance. It tells you in second entrance, man, to be pilgrims. I really just want to reference it because I'm about to close out in a second. It say like be pilgrims upon earth. All right. So it says second entrance 16:39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. Right. So we got a battle. All right. And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. All right. So we've been told to be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Okay. And the pilgrim essentially don't have land. All right. Pilgrim don't have riches. Okay. Pilgrims are simply nomadic. All right. A person traveling to a holy place, and this is the mindset and the spirit that we're supposed to be in the times that's coming. All right. Because it's a good precept. Riches profit not in the day of wrath. So the day of wrath is coming. So what spirit are we out to be in? It's a spirit of pilgrims. All right. Which we just read that. So pilgrim, the person traveling to a holy place as a penance. All right. To basically to be in a repentant state. All right. I think is dealing with being it's dealing with a contrite spirit. I forget exactly how it goes. It says or to discharge some vow or religious obligation. All right, or seeking some miracle or spiritual benefit. So we're supposed to be seeking a miracle and spiritual benefit rather than anything physical. Okay, so Jake is pretty much bugged out. All right, and they're not in the right spirit. They think that they're gonna get it on this side. All right, I'm talking about $1 million contracts, $1 million loans, and they own businesses, and they want to buy trucks and do the trucking thing. If you ain't been paying attention to um, how the society is falling, in the new world order, they're gonna stop all people from. They're gonna stop all way of traveling unless you get that serpent um, serum. All right. Unless you have the certain documentation, you're not going to be able to travel. So what is Jake talking about? And it goes to say that these men that know they're Israelites, they're not being watchmen. You have to be a watchman to understand these things. All right. Proverbs 21:16, the man that wandered out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And that's mostly you Israelites, man. All right. Y'all, you want to go out of the ways of understanding the spirit of this book and do your own thing. All right, well, you're going to remain in the congregation of the dead, those that are spiritually dead. Like a 2:10, yeah, I read that one earlier. Rise ye, depart, and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is the polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. That's right. Okay, Second Maccabees 1:27, gather those together that are scattered from us, deliver them that serve among the heathen. Look upon them that are despised and abhorred, and let the heathen know, Salaki, that thou art God. Verse 28, punish them that oppress us, and with pride do us wrong. Plant thy people again in thy holy place, as Moses has spoken. And you know what? You Israelites are supposed to know the truth. Those Israelites, the ones that I'm talking about, all right, they're envious of the heathen. All right, they want to be, they want to be, they want to be in the same light. They want the same benefits as the heathen, man. All right. It says Second Chronicles 15:13, that whosoever would not seek the Lord, Yahweh, power of Israel should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. Yeah. There we go. This is a good one. Matthew 6:19, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. Right? So Jake is not in that mindset. They're in the mindset of um, laying up treasures here on earth. Okay, that's the mindset most of these Israelites are in. It says, "But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal." Right? They can't steal the works that we do in this truth, because the works that we do eventually going to lead to a reward. And essentially, that's what we're doing. We're storing our treasures in heaven. Okay. And I thought, our mind and energy is towards doing this work so we can receive a reward. All right. Which is the greatest reward, ever known to mankind. Right. It says, verse 21, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And most of these niggas' treasures is in this world. Okay. Because really they can't see the kingdom. They really don't know what it is. They don't know how to go about acquiring it, because most of them aren't doing the work. And I'm telling you, because I know from experience, I'm dealing with certain individuals who call themselves Israelites and have been knowing the truth for a very long time. All right. Who have, just pretty much just putting all their energy and soul into this world. All right. Slack. So this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 29, verse 11. Lay up thy treasures according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold. That's right. Sirach 29 and 12. Shut up alms in thy storehouses, and it shall deliver thee from all that affliction. All right. So your alms. All right. And that's why one of the greatest things that we can do in this truth that's profitable is charity. All right. Through charity. Okay. Because again, when we left Egypt on the first go around, we had the riches. We did get those riches, but eventually we waxed fat. Sirach 29:13, Ecclesiasticus. It says, "It shall fight for thee against thine enemies better than a mighty shield and strong spear." You see, and then you got Israelites who get weapons and no, nigga, your weapon is this truth. Your weapon is charity. Your weapon is faith. Okay, that is the armor. The armor. The scriptures talk about put on the armor of the Most High. All right, which is those things. Charity is part of it. Okay, it's a big key. All right. So Proverbs 30 and 31, envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Jake is envying the oppressor. That's why they want those riches in this world. That's why they want the land, so they can compete with this devil and stand on his neck, so to speak. Well, that ain't gonna happen. This devil is trying to root you out, and the Lord has given him the power to do so. Okay, so much so that he's going to separate those that really believe him. He's going to use this devil to separate those that believe in him and those that don't. All right, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. That's right. And with that pretty much concludes the lesson. The Exodus 12 and 36 does not mean we're going to get rich on this side. All right, this place is going to be totally eradicated, destroyed, because it's defiled. None of anything. We're not going to take anything from this place, but our spirits. That's the only thing that's going to be taken from this place. Okay, and none of that stuff we can take to the kingdom. Not even these bodies. But Jake is not in the mindset. We really have to understand what this truth really means. And the greatest sacrifice that we can make is our lives. Okay. And Lord willing, we sacrifice our lives for eternal life, and a crown in eternal life, and that's when we're gonna get riches, when we caught up when we're caught up in the sky with the Lord. That's when the fame is gonna come. Not on this side. Hey, with that, and Tawada for tuning in, Tawada for the precepts. Really helped get me through this lesson. And with that, I say shalom. All right.